Hello everyone and welcome to the 3D Printer Chat podcast. As always, well not always, but sometimes, I'm your host, Miles Scott, and today I'm here with Gauthier de Valensart of Filaments Directory, and I'm hoping I said that right. How are you doing, Gauthier?
I'm fine, thank you.
Perfect. So today, guys, we're going to be talking all about Filament and Filaments Directory. Of course, everyone knows Filament is very, very important in our industry. So, Gauthier started Filaments Directory to help everyone sort of find out the information about what's out there, what kind of filament's being good for what, and it's got a lot of data for very interesting industry trends. So if you guys haven't checked it out, just go have a browse. You know, if you want to get a new filament, if you want to just look at options for certain things, it's really useful for that. So that's what we're going to talk about today. So I guess we'll start off with Gauthier, what led you to create Filaments Directory?
I saw my first 3D printer at the OSCON conference in Portland, Oregon, back in 2013. And to be honest, the print quality was quite bad. But my first thought was, this is wonderful, and this can bring a lot of new opportunities for everyone to create things at home, at work, at small and big scale. And I came back here in Europe, and I decided to buy one printer to start creating things with it and see what's possible, what's easy and difficult. And so I chose the Ultimaker 2. This was,
good start.
Yeah, yeah, it was a good bet. But at the time it was the 10 days after the launch of the version 2. So yeah, early days. So I had to wait for 3 months to get mine. The first print were not that easy to get out. Yeah, it was a nightmare. I had no prior experience, and that's always most difficult in such case. But after experiencing with basic filaments, I saw I don't like a lot the plastic touch and the plastic look of the 3D prints with all the layers. That's why I was really interested with the new color fab filaments with particles. So they were the first, or at least one of the first, to introduce some particles in it. And yeah, when we print with it, you see really something different. And so I looked for other brands creating such filaments, and there were new stuff each month, and it was quite difficult to cope with the arrival of all those new products. And that was really the start of the Filaments Directory project.
Okay, so it was just so many materials from so many different companies that you didn't know how to categorize them. So you thought, well, I got a problem, I'm gonna solve it.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, it's composite materials. I think is what is really interesting. You know, it's something that still most people don't use. And if you guys look on the Filaments Directory website, it's been growing. I've been looking at the trends. I think I'm sure industry analysts love your site. I'm sure sure they're really into it, because I was just watching the growth of different materials, and I'm glad to see ABS is dying. All you guys know, I'm an ABS hater. You know, get the pitchforks out. But composite materials is it takes filaments to another level. Because we already have the kind of good stuff. We already have the good ABS, PLA, PTG, all those things. It was specialty materials like composites and TPU that sort of like, oh, we can do even more things.
Yeah, and the real point is that there is no really good filament for everything. It's really about the right filament for the right purpose. So, as example, I had to print an accessory for a machine with a high electricity consumption, and in case of trouble, I didn't want it to have fire inside the case. That means that the 3D prints had to resist to some level of temperature and had to be fireproof. But when you have such requirements, it's not that easy to find those projects. And when you have to print with those materials, I can promise it's not something simple.
Yeah, I would say one of the groups of people I think who could use your website a lot more are those 3D printing for different hubs or for profit.
Yeah.
I recently had an order of a customer who particularly wanted a particular finish and particular color for a filament, and I'm like, I have no idea where I'm going to get this. So I actually searched on Filament.directory, and it's, if you have a customer that needs something, it even tells you where you can buy it, how much it has costed, how much different costs have gone up and down over time, etc., etc. It's a really useful tool for those looking for a specific thing. You're like, where do I get a marble filament that just looks like marble but it doesn't have pieces of marble in it? That into Google is going to be very difficult. So it's very, very useful, and I think that you could be more utilized in that community. I think those who are already using it, I think, are getting a lot out of it, but I think it needs to be seen and used by more people. So who actually contributes who does all the testing on your website? Because there's way too many filaments for you to just be doing here, I'm sure.
Yeah. Sorry. The thing is that it's 3D printing users. Most of them are Maker or Maker Pro, and they're using Filaments Directory to match their needs with the appropriate filament. And I have a lot of great members who are helping me sharing their print settings. The print settings are really the second stage of the project. So the goal is to have as much print settings as possible, because the print settings are highly dependent of the machine and the filaments, and also the slicer. We want really to have something better than you can print with this filament between 180 and 250. It's too wide, and so when you try something, you will fail probably, or have a bad results. So having someone else used already that filament on the same kind of machine, you will probably not have the top-notch print setting, but you will have already something that will save you 80% of your time. And that's really the goal by crowdsourcing print settings.
So if you are thinking, oh, this strange filament from a brand I've never heard of is on sale, you can quickly grab settings and save yourself. I think it's not even filament; it's frustration. When you have a particular filament brand that you really like and you know how to print it, and you've got that profile dialed in on your slicer of choice, and then new filament walks in and it turns your very expensive 3D printer into a garbage pile in your mind. You just go, throw this filament out, but it might be a really good filament. So you don't want to limit yourself. So this is really good for breaking down that barrier and having people not just have one kind of filament in their house, which is something I'm very guilty of.
Yeah.
I'm very bad. Those color fab packs are really good. those value packs are really, really nice. So it's good to experiment with more filament and not having your new afternoon where you've spent money to be frustrated is pretty helpful. I think that's a very, very good place for the filament for the website to go. I think that's extremely useful.
Yeah, and the thing is that you probably know print settings for, I don't know, did this or that filament with a 0.4 nozzle. But if I say, well, I need to have thick layers because I like that, you all your references will change completely. So it's really useful to have someone else took their time to share the print settings and avoid to lose time for the others.
Yeah, especially if you're doing something for a hub and you're time sensitive. If you're just printing things for yourself, it's not as bad if you have an afternoon of frustration. But if these filaments need to be in the post, if the prints need to be in post on Friday and it's Thursday afternoon and you're like, it still won't print nice, and do I even have enough left to finish this now? That's the thing that's happened to me before.
Oh yeah, I know what you're talking about.
So, when it comes to crowdsourcing these settings and crowdsourcing reviews of these of the filaments, how is the community compensated for their time here? How does that work?
So we organized a contest monthly. So we have great sponsors, and so the more you share on the website, the more chances you get to win something.
Okay.
So this month we have a contest with Ethan, and you can win up to 3 kilo of filament. That's for the third prize, and yeah, there are two other prizes with 2 and 1 spool. So we had a contest with very big companies like Colorfab, Polymaker, and also smaller ones who really who really deserve also to be more known with new product that can be really interesting for many people. And
wait one sec.
Okay.
We'll pause right here. 1 sec. Sorry, this will get edited out. Sorry.
Okay.
Dad, do you not read your text messages on your phone? Huh? Do you not read your phone? No, it's reading your phone. I'm recording the podcast right now. And I texted you. I texted you. When? Like 2 minutes ago. Because I thought, he's going to be home around this time. You could have texted me 20 minutes. You could have texted me an hour ago. I'm driving. I can't read it. Thank you. I need a day job so I can move out of my house. Jesus Christ. Okay. Where were we going there? Where were we? I just lost my train of thought there completely. We were talking about smaller companies. Okay, so 3, 2, 1. All right. So when it comes to highlighting smaller companies that are not as well known, by doing a contest, it sort of gets them in front of a bunch of people who are obviously really interested in filament.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. My mother will not go on Filaments Directory.
So it's a very highly targeted market. So
yeah,
if any representatives of any 3D printing companies are listening, Filament.Directory, drop them a line, see if you can get some exposure. And to the community out there listening, I guess I'd really like to see this product. I really like to see this website have more use, as you've probably gathered by now. I think it's really a good thing for the community. I think it's a very good product, and it's free for you and for me, so that's even better, you know. And I think that, you know, I know you guys bought a lot in the Black Friday sales. I know you might have bought some filaments that you haven't used before, so I'd really encourage you guys to sign up to Filament.directory and give their stuff a little whirl. And it says here you're doing a survey to get some more information from people.
Yeah, so each year we create a survey to know more about the usage of filaments from the community, and we share all the results on the blog afterwards. So we have already 224 response, and so we need to have more in order to have the most accurate results possible. And yeah, they are really interesting response from it.
Okay, guys, so the link to the survey will be in the description of the podcast, wherever you find it. So please take that and get some more data in it. This website only becomes better the more data is used on it. So that's always great. So it's been an interesting year for filaments and 3D printing in general. What would you say is the biggest thing that you've seen this year? What's stood out as for 2017 for you?
I see a lot of new filaments trying to enable FDM technology to print full metal objects. So you have the filaments from Virtual Foundry in the US, which is doing that. You have BASF, who booked Inofil, who have also a solution for that. And it seems that they have, so their goal is to create this kind of filament for other type of material. And so having the FDM able to print a lot more than just plastic is, to me, really fantastic.
So we could be seeing, even because I've been seeing those filaments that you're meant to bake afterwards, so that you sinter the parts together. So that kind of thing seems very interesting, but it's gonna have to, you know, the main concern I have for those kind of things is nozzles. Like, everyone's gonna have to buy titanium nozzles at this point.
Or ruby.
Yeah, I like to see more players in the ruby nozzle market or some other crystals, because while that is really nice, $80 for, I'd have to be putting in a lot of specialty filament to do it, especially because it's you can only use it on one printer, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I'm really looking at the mosaic palette right now. I think that's a really interesting product, especially because you can combine a couple of different kinds of materials as long as they're within a central temperature range.
Yeah, you have more chances to mess things up.
You do have a lot more chances to mess things up, but that's how you get things. That's how that's how you gotta get things moving forward. There's a lot of failure in moving forward. I think it's a really interesting device.
Yeah,
and I think it's definitely going to make people buy a lot more filament. So, you know, you're going to need 4 full spools if you want to do something really crazy, or if you run out of filament on one spool, you'll be really upset.
Oh yeah,
you'll just be wasting tons of filament. But I think there's really interesting things that can come out of that, and it's expensive. You know, it's $1,000, but you can use it on any 3D printer. That's the difference. You know, when it comes to outfitting your printer, you're gonna have to have like that's the flexibles printer, because I spent $200 on this special flexible extruder, and that's the, you know, you don't want to remove the versatility of that kind of thing. That's one thing I think needs to be sorted out with machines. Hopefully 2018 will bring us some more versatile machines, or more machines built with those kind of trends in mind. We'll see what happens. Speaking of trends for the future, what do you think is going to be the thing next year? What do you think is going to pop up at CES and beyond?
That's a good question. So each month we produce some trends above the new release on the market, and so yeah, you can see that some filaments like PP were quite new and last year and beginning of this year. So we will have more new type of plastics with enhanced capabilities, and it's difficult to have a clear picture of what's coming. But if you want to get the latest releases, just subscribe to the newsletter and you will have all the information.
And of course, keep reading 3D Printer Chat.
Yeah,
we'll be reporting on
sure.
everything. Of course, you got to put that in there. But I think this has been a really great conversation. I'd like to thank you for coming on. Everyone, please go and check out Filament.Directory. I'd really, really like to see more posts about it. I'd like to see more engagement from it. I want to see more links from it. All right?
Okay.
And put memes with the links, of course, because it's me. So, thank you very, very much for coming to join us.
Thank you.
All the links will be in the description to the website and to the survey. More data helps, and just write what you've already learned about your particular filament of choice, and you can win some more filament and keep that cycle going forever. Because this is an addiction. It's not a choice anymore. So, thanks very much for watching, guys, and we'll see you next time.